Mari, how was your Thanksgiving?
My Thanksgiving was really good, pretty chill, pretty relaxed.
What did you do?
I went to my brother's house. First of all, my husband did the most amazing turkey, and he made 8 sweet potato pies.
That's why he was in Walmart yesterday. Late.
Tell me how I was trying to eat some of the tested before we took it to my brother's house, because it was some good stuff. He cooks really, really good. Yeah.
What about Tony? What did Tony get? Oh, I know Idalis must have cooked everything.
Of course. But we went over there and nice spread. They had the arroz con gandules, and then they had potato salad, and then arroz, potato salad, some crab meat salad, turkey, mac and cheese. I have to picture the table so I could tell you. Mac and cheese. Then Josiah made this dessert. It was like a grape salad. So good. And then I think that was it. I think I'm missing a dish over here, but I can't remember what that was. But I know I went back a couple times because it was so good.
Well, on the other hand, I didn't do anything except for go to Debbie's house, my sister's, and pick up some food because she always makes her food early in the morning. And I basically called her, the day before. I was like, listen, what time are you going to make the food? Because I'm about to cacheteo. So I think I'm going to go over there and do you the favor so that I can do myself the favor of having some food later on while I have a break, while I'm playing, I was playing, a little PlayStation, because that's what I do. And so that's all I did. I went over there, picked up the food, talked to Chadi, talked to Debbie, and talked to Marcus. And started raining. I was like, time to go. So just drove back to the house, heat up the food, eat it. And unbeknownst to me, in my house, my brother's girlfriend, she ended up cooking more than I thought. Normally, last year she didn't cook anything, but she cooked a couple of things or whatever. So I ate what Debbie cooked for me, which was like this macaroni salad, some arroz con gandules. She did some collard greens or something like that, or I don't know what it was, but it was good. It was freaking good. And I didn't have to cook nothing. Awesome.
That was the best part.
That's pretty much what I did yesterday. And just watched some TV, played a little video game, went to sleep. That was my Thanksgiving, and I love that.
Yeah, it was good for me too. It was really interesting, us sitting at the like in the living room. So it was my brother, his wife, my husband. We were just, my mom, she was sitting there with us, and we were just kind of watching the Macy's Day Parade for a little bit. But then we can hear the kids in the background. Genesis and Elena, Paola, and Gianni were playing pool table. And then outside in the patio was Tony's kids. So it was really nice for us to just sit there for a moment, us, the adults, in silence, and just kind of listen to everything that was happening. It was really neat. Then I went and I saw my sister.
Oh.
And oh my goodness. We went home, dropped off the kids. The kids went home. I went, and then I left, and I went to my sister's house. Oh my God, I laughed so much with my sister's nieces. Well, my sister's daughters. Those girls are hilarious. So it was really, really,
Did you guys get to play like video games or anything like that, or you just?
We didn't. The kids were playing pool. Other kids were outside. But at my sister's house, I was cracking up so much. It was just so good. They were just laughing about their mom, telling their mom that she should get off TikTok and get off, because she was sending like videos, and they're like, Mom, this is really not funny. Like, what are you doing? So it was just so funny to see the banter between the younger generation and the older generation. It was so wholesome. It was beautiful.
Was there such a thing as, you know how in a lot of like movies and even in TV shows, there's this, I guess, kind of sort of everybody kind of has like a little table for the little people, for the kids.
Yeah.
Do you guys have that?
Well, I think it organically happened because the adults went to the living room. The younger ones went to the pool table and ping pong. And then the cool kids, the 20-year-olds and the 19-year-olds went to the patio. So it just organically happened. Like, we all got together, we prayed, and then we just kind of dispersed. Everybody just went to their own little corner. So it automatically happened. And then I realized, man, we're the old cats now.
Well, speak for yourself. I'm still young.
Oh, Lord.
I'm getting close to you. No, I'm young.
Okay, on to the next topic. Okay. On to the next topic, please and thank you.
So we did our previous podcast, which was the first one. This is number 2. Just keeping, the track here. And the first one, basically, how did you think we did in regards to what we expected? Because I know watching your channel that there was a little over, I think the first 40 minutes, there was a little bit of like 40 or 30 people that actually responded or actually saw the video. And you told me that there was a couple of things that kind of like threw you off. You didn't think that it was going to penetrate like that to some people.
Well, I think for me, I think that for me, it was nerve-wracking right off the bat. It's a extremely vulnerable place to be. But I think that what took me to a different place was to hear different people say different things. Like people were just saying the fact that I was vulnerable enough to share things. And the interesting part is that I'm the queen of boundaries. So because I don't like to share and I don't like too much information, here I am sharing everything to the world.
Yeah.
Why? This is just with this space I'm at. So, but just to be able to hear other people share their stories, which is really what impacts me the most. I'm always saying, like, share your story, talk about what's happened to your life, because you're not the only one that's been through it, even though you feel like you're the only one. But when you share your story, you get to connect with other people and other people that are maybe feeling alone and in the dark, or just maybe insecure or whatever. They're just like, oh, well, they're going through it too, then I can be okay. You know what I'm saying? Just that place of connection. And that was impactful. It's kind of rewarding because at first I was like, oh my God, what did I just do? I just shared everything. Like, what am I doing?
Did you get anybody, I mean, it's been a little over a month since we did that. Did you get anybody like asking you when are you guys going to do it?
Yeah, I get it a lot.
Yeah, I actually got your brother, Felo, I think yesterday, the day before yesterday. He sent me a message through WhatsApp and he asked me, hey, I think I saw something along the lines of you and Mari doing some kind of podcast. I didn't get to see the whole video, but are you guys going to do that? I thought that was pretty awesome. This and that. I was like, well, funny that you said that, you know? So I responded to him, but I got a couple of people that kind of liked the idea. After they saw the first little clip that we shared prior to sharing the whole entire video, I know Chadi was like really quick saying, oh, you guys gonna do that? It's gonna be so cool. So I was like, yeah, that is the plan. It's gonna be in Mari's channel, not in mine's. But I thought we got pretty good feedback from different people, which I kind of expected that. But today I really wanted to talk about relationship because relationship is such a big deal, I think, for everybody. And I'm not talking about just the relationship that we know, which is basically a female and a male, but just the relationship in general, whether it's family, friends, colleagues, co-workers. I think that that's something that we all have to go through and on a day-to-day basis, I want to say. And some of us have to do that more than most because some of us are leaders. I mean, I think everybody's a leader in their own area of expertise, but what do you really think about how important it is for you to have a relationship as a leader, because you are, with the individuals that are under you or the individuals that basically you lead?
In leadership, I think relationships are extremely important, but I think they're also extremely hard. I think depending on what aspect you're looking at, I think it's hard. And I think that's, as a leader, you always tend to feel like it's never enough. You're never able to do enough. You're never able to reach enough. You're never able to contact enough. So it's a hard place, but it's such a rewarding place when, as a leader, you have a relationship with someone, and when you see them make relationships with other people and you see them grow and them thrive, then that's a place for me where leadership is. That's where you see the fruit of leadership, because leadership isn't just telling someone what to do. It's a matter of influencing them to be the best that they could be, and then move forward. And I think that that's where the relationship part really takes effect, and that's what really impacts their ability to move on and to grow and to thrive and to impact others as they move forward. So I think relationships are extremely important. And I think that sometimes with the busyness of life and the load of responsibility and all the things that you have to do to lead, I think relationships sometimes gets the short end of the stick of the leader, because that should be like the top priority.
Well, I think that okay, we both work obviously in a church ambience where things are a little different, if not a lot different than let's say the real world. And here it's all about having a good relationship with the individuals that you work. I mean, they emphasize that. And that's awesome because you don't really get that out there in the world. I mean, you're supposed to, but you don't get it. And I mean, and I think that not a lot of people, I think they have a misconception where if the leader is too close to an employee or the people that they're leading, then there might be some favoritism. So how do you balance that without looking like your favoritism or you having any favoritism towards someone else without it just being just who you are and how you conduct yourself with that individual?
I think that as a leader, we have to be okay that people are going to feel a certain type of way, because the truth is I can't have a relationship, or any leader can't have a relationship with everybody. Can you connect with people? Yeah, you can have these superficial, or not necessarily superficial, but these very light conversations or light relationships, but you can't invest into everybody. And so I have to be able to, and I say I representing leaders as a whole, we have to have our core people that we pour as much as we can into them, because we can't pour into everybody. So some people's feelings just do get hurt, and it's not something that you do intentionally, but sometimes people are able to love you more than you're able to love back. Some people are able to pour more into you than you're able to pour it back, because there's one of you and there's a lot of them. So as a leader, you have to be okay that some people are going to feel a certain type of way, that they may feel that there is some favoritism, that there is some leniency towards one person than more than the other. It just is what it is, you know, and there's just some people that you see so much more potential in one person, or some people are just more willing to learn, to grow, to apply, that you don't have to work through them and try to get them to understand. And one thing I used to say a lot of times before was, I used to say, if I have to convince someone that I'm worth their time, then they may not be worth my time.
And I think
And that's harsh, but
it's true.
Right.
I mean, and it all depends on the setting that you're in, because you
Right.
can't always say that.
Of course.
I guess you got to go with your audience.
But what I mean is, like, if a person wants me to invest into them, but all there is resistance, and it's not that I'm not going to pour into that person, because I will, but there's just going to come a time where I can do as much as I do. You've got to be vested too. So that's what I mean. Like, I'm willing to pour in, I'm willing to go the extra mile and to keep going. But if they're not willing to budge and they just want me to kind of keep going and keep going and keep going, there's going to come a point where I just have to draw the line and just be like, you know what, well, this is the max. I've reached the max. I can't go past this point. So as a leader, I have to be able to identify leaders around me and people around me that are willing to not do for me, but do for themselves, to be able to move forward. Because it's not always about what they can do for me. It's never about that. It's what can they do for the kingdom, you know, for the world, for others, for community.
Well, I kind of agree, and my point of view in regards to that, because I also know that there's certain people that you have to be on them in order for them to do anything.
Absolutely.
And again, when I say it all goes on who your audience is, meaning who basically are you pouring into? Is it an individual that you work with, or is it an individual who you're leading in church, or is it an individual that you have in your house? Sometimes it differs, because you might still pour into them regardless if they're not, because, like, for example, your son. You're not going to not stop. You're going to keep going because it's your son. And that goes with every relationship. I think that at times, people that do get hurt, 9 times out of 10, it's just because they're hurt people. You know, they're going through different things, or they've gone through different things. And at times they just need that someone to show them that they care enough, that they're willing to keep investing, even though they're resisting.
Right.
And again, we're all human, and we get tired really easy, really quick. And sometimes I think we can get lost in wanting to invest into people that, like you said, if they don't seem like they want to be reciprocal to what you're giving them, then why keep going? But then when we come into the world that we live in regards to believers, it's like, well, you gotta be, you know what I'm saying?
But I think there has to be a healthy balance, because for me, I don't tend to look at a person based on what they're doing at the moment. I'm going to look at a person based on their character, based on their integrity, based on all the things, because everything is situational. You know what I'm saying? So if a person is reacting a certain type of way, I'm not going to think, well, that's just who they are. I'm going to look, what there's something always going on. I don't know everybody's story. They don't know my story. So you do invest into people, but I think that if I go to the Lord first, you know what I'm saying? And if my life is aligned with what God wants me to do, then all the people God's going to put around me to some way, shape, or form, I am called to pour into them. I am called to be a person, a model to that. I'm called to do that. So therefore, I am going to be more lenient. I am going to be more tolerant of things, but I can't see the person for what is in front of me because I don't know what got them there. So yes, I do. Yes, I'm going to go further. And yes, I'm going to invest. And yes, I'm going to do, but I'm also going to require them to be partake in that investment too. You know what I'm saying? So it's not just giving, but I'm not saying, well, I'm going to see what they do first and see how much they invest first. It's a matter of me modeling what I want. But I also have to think, and I always do think, like, you never know why the person is where they are right now. There was a trajectory that got them there. So with that in mind, my approach is going to look different to every person, which is why sometimes people think that, oh, well, there is favoritism, or, you know, you want to be with that person more than this person, or you talk to this person more than that person. But it's because everybody is different, and I can reach everybody in my circle of influence, right? I can reach everybody differently. It doesn't look the same at all. I can spend 20 hours with this one person and 3 hours with this person, and this 3 hours had more weight than the 20 hours that it took me to get over here, because everybody's different. So everybody's perspective looking in is different than what reality is when it's coming to my engagement as a leader or as a person to other people. And I think that that's the key element.
Well, I wanted to get to all that you just said that makes a whole lot of sense, and I agree, where people have a misconception of a mega church and a small church. So the small churches tend to throw shades to the bigger churches, and only because they feel like they forget, you know, the upbringing, or they forget that it's not just to cater to the massive, but just to cater to basically what we are supposed to be serving God for, which is basically looking for His presence and imparting the word to everyone and anyone. And I think that some people, and it's so funny because I had this conversation with one of the guys that I work with, one of the young guys that I have working with, how he was saying that he needed to get into a different type of church, smaller, because he just figures that these big churches, sometimes they lose the essence of what it is to serve God. And in regards to the relationship, I think it's the same way. First of all, we're people, and we cannot, for however we try, we cannot please everyone.
Right.
And I was telling them, well, if you're only focusing on that you were brought up into, every time you come in here, you're going to nitpick at what you knew or you think is not right, then you're missing the point. That's not what you're supposed to be coming here for. You're supposed to be coming here to look for the presence, which is what you're saying, that they're missing out. But in reality, they're not missing out. They're giving, they're praising, they're worshiping. It may be different than what you have been brought up to, but it's still God. They're still, you know what I'm saying? So with that being said, and let me tell you, and being honest, I was the same way. When I came in here looking at a lot of things that to me was like, that makes no sense. This, that, or whatever. But in reality, it was just like I was explaining to him. When we're used to traditions and when we're used to how we were up, when we were brought up, we tend to think that that's the way things should be all the time. There's nothing wrong with that. That's just that's how you were brought up. It's just like, basically, we go to our family's house and your mom makes, you know, an arroz con corned beef. And according to you guys, that's the best plate ever.
Right.
Not me. You know what I'm saying? Because I ate more than them, you know? But she was good at making that plate. You guys loved it. Now, there was nothing wrong with it. It's just not my preference. But who am I to say to you that that's the best plate? That's all you know. That's all you care about. So, and I use that analogy only to say that, you know, if you come in here and you're looking for God the way that you're supposed to be looking for Him, then you're going to find Him because He's here, you know? And in the Word, it says where 2 or 3 are in my name, there He would be. So when you're are surrounded with people that obviously are in the same mind frame as you, you know, you can't, it can't get any better than that to receive the presence of God. But if you're coming in here already spectating and all this other stuff or whatever, just looking at the wrong, you're never going to see it for what it is. And I had to tell that to my sisters. I had to tell that to that young man. And I'm saying it now because even with what you're saying with relationship, where we can pick certain people and pour into them, but also realize that you can't do that with everybody.
Right.
And
Yeah,
but there's some people that need it more than others when they come up in churches like that.
Yeah, but I think that a lot of the times people come to church, people go into a relationship, people go into existing in life of what am I going to get out of it? I'm going to engage with you. What am I going to get out of it? I'm going to go to this church. What am I going to get out of it? That's just how we are as humanity. You know what I'm saying? Like we're going in with, what do I walk away with? What is in it for me? And I mean, we're all guilty of that. Like we all do that. But I think that it's not how we improve our own quality of life. Like when we go to a church, yes, we go to a church because we want to engage with people. We want to experience God. We want to do all of these things. But what do we bring into the church? You know what I'm saying? We have all these expectations when we get in a relationship. We want him to do all these things. We want her to do all these things. But are we willing to meet that? Are we willing to do what we are expecting? Can we go to church and bring what we want church to give us too? Not saying that we're going to go, we can speak in tongues, we can preach, we can do all the things that the church does. That's not what I'm saying. But can you go to the church and be the church? Can you go to work and be the church at work? Can you represent Christ at work? Can you represent Christ when you're driving? Can you represent Christ everywhere you're at? So what you're asking for the church to do, can you do it too? Maybe not at the same level, maybe not at the same intensity and capacity, but can you do it too? Because at the end of the day, this is just a building. The church is the people. But I think that a lot of the times, especially in these big churches, a lot of the times you go into a church and they do church so well, which is, I can say that about me, like a lot of people see like, yo, the church does so good. They don't need volunteers. They don't need help. They don't need support because the church makes church so good. So everybody's like, oh, they don't need anybody. On the contrary, those of us that are working and doing that, we need help, we need support. But it's not even just a mega church. It's even if you go to a smaller church, it's just church in general. But again, we're talking about church, but it's in a relationship in general.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? It's just, again, you have these high expectations of other people or other experiences, other encounters, other places. Can you bring that to the table too? And I think that that's where we lack.
And going back to the relationship situation, I think in a relationship where there's friends or spouses or girlfriend and boyfriend, it's the same thing. Sometimes we go in there the first time we get into it and everything is all happy, hunky-dory, like they say. And after 2 months or 3 months, things start coming out that you didn't even think. Or you just were unwilling to see because in the beginning, everything was nice. And I think that we get lost in what was it that you liked about that individual that you were willing to basically put it in the back and still keep moving forward.
Right.
And then after you get comfortable with that individual, you start seeing those things that you saw already, but you were okay with. But now, because you're comfortable with them, you want to call them out. And it becomes an issue later on. I know that you just got recently married. Prior to that, you were single for how long?
11 years.
Wow, 11 years. So 11 years, what, 3 years in?
3 years.
So how do you balance that?
How do I balance the differences?
Relationship and then the differences that you have with each other that maybe in the beginning you didn't realize that was a big deal, but now it is a big deal?
I think that it's not just the relationship part. I think it has everything to do with you as a person, for me as a person. So when I have my differences, even in my current marriage, my differences aren't because of it's who he is or what he does. It's more of where I have to learn about me and be okay with the things that I am and that I bring to the table and the things that I'm just like, okay, it didn't bother me before, but it bothers me now. I have to reevaluate that. Why did it not bother me before? Why does it bother me now? And I have to be able to talk about it. And I think that he should be able to understand and be able to see, okay, I can see the difference, because it's the same way vice versa. I'm sure there's a lot of things which it's been my history, like, oh, these are the great things about you, but later on as time goes by, those are the same great things that I don't really like anymore. It's just, when you start a relationship, you go in and everything's, like you said, everything's fine, everything's cool, everything's moving along. But once you start getting used to this is what it's going to be for forever, there's certain things that start to pick at you and to bother you. But I don't think it's only about dealing with the other person. I think it's dealing with self and being okay. Like, I don't like this bothers me, this annoys me, but is it really critical? Is it really going to affect me long term? Is it really something that I can compromise and just be like, you know what, it is what it is. Can I have the conversation? Can we make some modifications on it? Maybe there is some things that won't be modified and you just have to be like, okay, well, this is what it is. Can I deal with that? And not only can I deal with that, I must learn how am I going to deal with that and keep moving. And I don't think that there is a relationship where everything's perfect and everything's fine, but dealing with differences with another person in a relationship, I think a lot of it is having to deal with self. How can I deal with that? Because I chose this person, this imperfect person. I've chosen this imperfect person, and all the things that I don't like, I have to learn how to manage that. I have to, because if I don't learn how to manage that, if they don't change, what if they do not change and there is no compromise? What am I going to be like? Oh, I'm going to be out. But how do I manage that without getting resentful, without getting bitter, without getting angry? And a leader is a leader not because of a title. A leader is a leader because they can influence people. They can influence change. So what can I do as a woman of God, as a woman of integrity, as a woman of character to help my relationship influence for the better? Not influence for me, influence for the better of the relationship. And that's the hard part, because a lot of the times I'm not going to see his point. He's not going to see my point. So we're just going to stay in a cycle and just stay in that cycle. And how long can you stay in that cycle? Some people stay 30, 40, 50 years. To live the world we live in today, they're just like.
Mm-hmm. One of the things that I've learned throughout the years, I mean, obviously, I'm not one to talk about relationships. I'm horrible. But I've had relationships in the past where, and so funny, because I say that you're only going to meet the person that obviously is trying to sell themselves to you the first couple weeks.
But you have to go in knowing that. So if you go in knowing that, it's not necessarily saying that the person that you got in front of you isn't the real person, because they're just trying to put their best foot forward.
But
And
I include myself there. I did the same thing too.
All of us.
I mean, because I'm not good at relationships, I tend to basically do all the things that I normally would not do. And I would support or basically be tolerant. That's the proper word, tolerant to certain things that I would normally not be tolerant. Only because I don't want to come out as being cruel or being inconsiderate or just being that guy that he's negative, which I am. And I am aware of. But when you try to basically change who you are just so that person can just accept you, I think I do a disservice to myself, because later on, when I want to say, hey, I've been okay about this and I'll be okay about that, but in reality, I don't like this, I don't like that.
Right.
Instead of understanding, because let me tell you, if there's something that I'm known for, is that I'm a little too honest. And so I don't have an issue saying what I'm wrong about and what I think other people can fix as well, but I'll be the first to admit it. And when you get into the relationship and you say all these things that kind of frustrate you, and I'm also accommodating the fact that I know that you're also a part of the relationship, therefore I am trying to be as supportive as I am as the things that I know that you like that I don't like, but I'm also willing to make those modifications and changes. I get frustrated because I feel at the time like it's always me doing the modification. It's always me, and then I can't say nothing because from day one I sold it like I was cool with it. Yeah. So now that I'm saying that I'm not cool with it, well, that's on you. You said you were cool with it. So it's like
balance. I think there has to be a balance, because just as much as you have to make changes in your relationship to make it work, just as much as you have to make the change, the person that's with you also has to make a whole lot of changes too. So it's not like, okay, so you sold yourself that you were okay with things and now you're not okay with it. So now if I'm the one in your relationship, well, you were okay with it before and now you're not okay with it. So I have to take the position where like, okay, so either I can be very stubborn and just be like, well, this is how you were before, and this is how I want, and I'm not going to budge from that. Or I could be like, if I'm mature enough, if I love enough, if I'm rooted enough and secure enough in me and who I am with God, I can just be like, okay, well, this is the shift and this is the true self. How can I make changes to make that work? But you have to understand that I came with this and now I have to shift to this. Now you have to understand that your changes are going to cause changes in me, and you have to be okay that those changes may be all of a sudden for you because that's your nature, but they're not for me. So you got to be patient with me and allow me the time to adjust, to change, to move, and to not be okay. You have to be okay that I'm not okay. And you have to understand that, and I don't mean you, but I just mean in general, like all of us, like the world.
She means you.
Yeah. The world doesn't revolve around my thoughts, doesn't revolve about what I like, what I don't like, my person, my history, my background. It isn't just about us. When you're in a relationship, it isn't just about you, Pepe. It isn't just about me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I have to be okay that they're different. And I chose them and they're different, so they can't just deal with the way that I'm different. I have to deal that they're different too. And that's where the modification comes. And we have to be okay that the other person just doesn't like it, doesn't want to budge, doesn't want to. There's certain things, in my opinion, I think there's certain things that are non-negotiable that I'm not budging. For me, I'm not budging on certain things. But those things that I'm not budging on, I think are eternal factors. I think are things that are fundamental to life. It isn't, I'm not budging and I'm not getting a black car because I just want white cars. You know what I'm saying? Like things that are.
But I think that also comes to the fact that if that individual, which we all, include myself, we all come with baggage into a relationship all the time.
Right.
And if we have not fixed whatever baggages we had in the past, whether it was in a past relationship, whether it's your parents, whatever relationship that caused you harm, to be all kinds of a hot mess mentally, physically, and emotionally, and you're bringing that baggage into a relationship, at times that's going to come up. That's going to come up. That's like a rash that no matter how much you keep putting some at the, hydrocortisone on it or whatever, you're probably going to have to go to a doctor to actually give you the proper medication for it, because you're basically just using over-the-counter stuff.
Yeah, but it's impossible for you not to come with baggage. It is what it is. What I'm saying is you're coming with baggage, but I'm coming with baggage too. And I have to learn how to work with your baggage while still holding mine. You know what I'm saying? And you can handle your baggage because you've carried it for a long time. So you got muscle memory on your trauma. You have that. I don't. So now I have to deal with my issues and your issues, which is fine because you have to deal with mine. But there's going to come a point when it's heavy, you know what I'm saying? And it's exhausting to carry your baggage. I'm not saying that I don't want to. And I'm talking about in a relationship, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not saying I don't want to carry your baggage. I'm just saying like, yo, it's heavy. Like, give me some mercy, some grace, some tolerance. Like, yo, your baggage is heavy. Not judging you for your baggage because your baggage was given to you. You know what I'm saying? Like, but it's heavy. So on top of being heavy, I got to also deal with your baggage, your trauma, your grumpiness, your sadness, all of that.
Why I got to be grumpy?
I'm talking about.
Why I got to be grumpy?
Well.
Always got to go there.
No, but what I'm saying is, like, yo, it's heavy. Like, we have to recognize, and you have to recognize that you got to carry my baggage too. And just because you can go through my baggage, we're like, oh, that's nothing. Your baggage weighs 50 pounds. I've been carrying 1,050. You know what I'm saying?
And it's not in a comparison issue.
It's not. That's still the big thing.
Sometimes, again, I'm only speaking for me. Sometimes you tend to give too much information about your story. Yeah. And I tend to do that a lot when I'm in a relationship because I want them to see where I'm at mentally and how do I react with certain things. Maybe giving all that information from what I'm told from other geniuses that I've spoken to in the past is you just give too much too soon. Well, if I don't, then how can they know? So all that to say that I believe that when you're in a relationship, whether it's, boyfriend or girlfriend or friendship or whatever, you have to be willing. If you're willing, if that relationship is important to you, there are certain times that you're just going to have to sit there and embrace the suck, like you said.
Embrace the suck, yeah.
Embrace that individual is just as messed up as you. The relationship is worth to you so much that you're okay with, you know what, even though you can't change them, even though you wish they can do things different, if you love them enough and you care about the relationship enough, then from time to time, you're just going to have to eat it. From time to time, you're gonna ask, you know what? Maybe your 75% is enough to carry the relationship. And if she's only giving 15%, then are you willing to move there? Are you willing to accept that? Maybe you are, maybe you're not. I remember taking a course called Tough Man Tuesday, where they explain that at times we have to realize that there are certain people that are not going to give not even a quarter of what you give to them. Now, that's up to you if you're totally okay with it. If you're okay with it, then so be it. But if you're not okay with it and you stayed there, then that's on you.
You can't blame, that's right.
Yeah,
You
that's
can't blame
on
the
you
other
because
person.
you already
chose that.
knew.
Right.
And if from the very beginning they're teaching you, they're showing you that that's who they are, you can't expect to change after 9 months. This is who they were from the very beginning. And again, it's tough, but if this person, this individual means that much to you, then sometimes you're gonna have to just basically accept it, move forward, or work through it so that you can come into a happy medium. And I think that goes for all of us in a relationship in general, because I have relationships with you, I have a relationship with your brother, and me and your brother, forget it. At times, boy, that we be talking and he has something to say and he's really quick at the mouth and he's pretty smart or whatever. And at times I kind of like feel a little overwhelmed with what he says and how fast he is in regards to how he's saying the things that we're talking about. That at times I kind of like stay quiet because I know that because I can't probably meet him in the middle of what he's saying, I get angry and frustrated. I might want to jab somewhere where I shouldn't.
Right.
And I think that we all have that issue with relationships in general.
Right.
If we can't just talk
Right.
or hash it out, we might say something that we shouldn't say just because we feel, pressured or cornered.
Yeah.
And at times, sometimes there's certain things, like, for example, not only with your brother Anthony, that I've had issues with him in conversation, and I adore Anthony. I love him to death. I have the utmost respect for him. There's my Uncle Sam. My Uncle Sam, love him. I think the world of him. And there are certain things about him that are very, very frustrating at times. And sometimes, for the sake of the relationship, I'd rather be wrong. And I'd rather just eat it. And I'd rather not say anything because I value the relationship that much. Meanwhile, I don't do that with everybody. But I value the relationship that much with him that I'd rather just take the loss, if that's what you want to call it, for the sake of keeping the relationship, than argue back or make him feel something that I'm really not saying, but because I know that he's so vulnerable to certain things and he takes things out of context. A lot of times, I might just lose. So
Yeah, but
therefore,
I think
just
it's
hold
important
up.
to have the conversations.
Yes.
Because I think it's important that we talk to people, and I'm not saying tell your business to everybody, but in your relationship, I still believe, I'm a proponent that you should have someone to talk to help you guys mediate that. Because there's going to be times where you're not budging, I'm not budging, and we're going to just stay in this cycle and it's not going to change. And I think that it's
Are you
important
going to the counseling?
I am talking about counseling. I think counseling is extremely important. I think having mentors in your relationships is important. I think it is extremely important, one, not only for the relationship, but for self. I recently went to talk to somebody because I was just like, listen, this is what I'm thinking, this is what I'm feeling, because I need somebody to check me too. And it can't be my husband, it can't be my son, it's somebody from outside that could just be like, hey, listen, this is what's going on. Because I want to check my heart too. I can't act like I know it all or I got it right. But I want to make sure that and these are my exact words. I recently said, I want to speak to somebody because I need to know where's the posture of my heart. Do I have resentment? Am I angry? Am I being defiant? Am I just being stubborn? And am I just check me? Because I want to make sure that because once I'm set on something, I'm set on something. Like, this is what I believe, this is my stand, and I'm not budging from this. I know that about me. So because I know that about me, I don't want to be so sound and strong on something that is completely erroneous. I don't want to do that. But I know that I have the capacity to, because we're strong people.
I think that sometimes, I think that just comes to us being Hispanic. We have the tendency where we want to be right, even though we know we got the evidence, but we just don't want to admit it. Right. We don't want to admit it, and that's basically a vulnerability that not too many Hispanics are okay with. They'd rather be wrong and be right, if that makes any sense.
Right.
And they're not going to say, they're sorry, especially if you're catching them at the moment where you're hashing it out and you're giving them the evidence. They just don't want to look dumb. They don't want to look stupid. They feel like it's just not good. So, I mean, I remember my grandmother, she was that person that would tell you something with a straight face. And if she said that this was green and you said it was blue, and in reality it was green, and you can prove it to her at that moment, don't do it.
Yeah.
Don't do it because you're gonna lose. You're gonna lose. So it's like you have to know your boundaries of how far can you get with that individual. Again, this is the way I think we should be with people that we generally care about, that we don't want to hurt their feelings. And we generally want to keep the relationship. So maybe you have to basically embrace that you lost, or embrace that, let me just humble down to them for the sake of the argument, which I've seen a lot of my brothers and sisters do with me all the time. And they rather, for the sake of not arguing with me or whatever, because it's a lost cause, they rather just humble down. And I've noticed that, I've realized that, and just now that they're grown women and grown men, they have said certain things to me at times where they're like, I just want to tell you, I wanted to tell you, but I didn't tell you because of this. And I'm like, yo, you have your own mind. I mean, you're an adult. I respect you. Speak your mind.
Yeah,
Tell
but
me.
it's hard sometimes. It's hard when you're dealing with somebody, and I say you, but I mean in general, like it's hard to confront somebody that is so strong in their personality that it's not even necessarily, one, it could be intimidating to me to approach, but it's also like, for what? What's gonna come back is gonna be that much harder, and I'm just gonna get worse in my feelings. And so I'm like, you know what? It's not
But
even
you
worth
love
the
to
fuss.
argue.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, guys, I'm telling you right now, we're here in Jesus Christ Alive Let's Say building.
Oh my God, stop.
This girl loves to argue. Every morning,
Yo, why you gotta lie? Yo, you correct this, please. Correct this.
Listen,
The truth
let's
is,
just
no,
say,
wait,
okay.
hold on. The truth is that this guy here likes to argue about everything.
Oh my God.
He
I can
argues
see.
about everything. And half of the time I'm like, yeah, you're right.
First
Yeah,
of all,
girl.
for those of you that are watching the videos, I'm the one I'm gonna cut this probably. But for those of you that are watching the video, I know that for sure. I know some of you that know me personally are going to agree with her.
'Cause you
Are
know
you going
I'm
to buy
right.
it? You're going to write it
Because
in
I'm
the
right.
in
'Cause he
the what is
fights
it? The
all
message, the messages. Yeah,
He's fighting
I
all the time.
look, see. So she's going. Whoever it is, I know who you are, Maria,
Stop.
Debbie,
Stop.
Chari.
Stop.
I know you guys are gonna get there. You're gonna write, yep, he does like to argue this and that, whatever. Just to let you know, I have control of her channel. I can erase it. I can erase the messages.
I don't like to argue. I don't like to fight. But when I do have something that I believe in, I'm going to state it. But half of the time, there's things that I'm not. I just had this conversation 2 days ago with my husband in the car. He's like, but aren't you going to say something about, it was about another situation. I'm like, for what? I'm going to waste so much energy, so much effort in trying to fight this that it's not to no avail. I'm going to find another resolution because I preserve my soul. And I don't want to fight. I don't argue over things to prove that I'm right or to prove that there's a better place. It's just like,
I don't
pick
even
and
know
choose, for
what really it is that causes me to get so angry so fast. I mean, I'm very fast to get angry. I mean, very fast. And if I'm angry at that moment, 9 times out of 10, I'm not rationalizing, which I don't think anybody does anyways.
right.
And if I'm stuck on being stupid, it's not fun. But I can honestly say throughout the years, as I've grown, and those of you that are going to get there and say and agree with her, no, you can also agree and say what I'm saying now. I have grown to say, hey, you know what? I was wrong. Hey, you know what? You was right. Hey, you know what? I apologize. I shouldn't have said what I said. I shouldn't have said it how I said it. I'm that guy. I've been that guy for I don't even know how many years now. But before, well, let me tell you, nobody could have told me nothing.
Yeah,
I
but
was
you know what
that.
though? And that's great. You and I say me, I think we all improve in that aspect where we can come back and apologize and be like, yo, my bad. I shouldn't have gone to that place. But we've got to grow from that. That's not like the max. We've got to grow to the point where we're like, not only do we apologize, but we can stop ourselves from getting there. Because yeah, you can say all these things to me and then we're like, oh, tag. And then you come back and be like, yo, Mari, my bad. I'm sorry, whatever. That's fine. But that doesn't erase the hate. You know what I'm saying? I have to go through recovery now from the hit that you did. So the apology doesn't remove that. The apology should give me hope that you won't keep punching me in the face over and over and over again. You know what I'm saying? So granted, and yes, and I'm not just talking about you, I'm talking about me too. Like, just because I come back and say I'm sorry doesn't take away.
No, if
happened.
you're always apologizing for something that you've done many times, then you're really not sorry.
Right, but I think, and it goes right back to when we started this conversation, that a relationship has a lot to do with self. It's self-improvement. It's just like parenting. When you're parenting a kid, it's not even about the kid, it's about yourself. How do you become a better parent? How do you become a better person so you can influence this human being to be better than you were? It's the same in a relationship, you know what I'm saying? Like, the relationship, in my interaction with you, I have to think about me. What am I doing that's causing that? Because whatever you're doing is what's causing, you're getting a reaction of what you're sowing into me. So if you're constantly sowing punches and you're constantly sowing this, then if I get bitter and I get angry and I get resentment and I get unfaithful and I get all these things, I'm not blaming it all on you, but I'm just saying, like, you're sowing that. You sow that into a relationship. If I sow all of that, then you can't be mad at the results that we're getting of what we're reaping, because that's what we're sowing, and again, I'm not saying apologies are not important, because they're extremely important. What I'm saying is that an apology should be a seed of hope that we won't get here again and again and again. Not saying that you won't, I'm just saying it'll be less, it'll be better. So that's the next step for us, that we get to the point that, like, yeah, I got no problem to admit I'm wrong.
On that note, what's your thought when we're consistently faced with committing the same sin? And we go to God with the same apologies that you're describing? And how do we expect God to continue to forgive us as we expect for us to forgive ourselves when we consistently keep going to that same old sin? What is the best way of not only changing that consistent bad habit that you're doing, but how can you make the necessary adjustments and changes to basically not go there? Because we're sinners since we were born, apparently. But there's certain things that we just continue to keep doing, and we say we're sorry, but we keep doing it. And you're just describing to me how important it is that that's just not enough. It doesn't change. If that's you, I don't even want to think about what the man upstairs is thinking about us, even though he doesn't think the way we think. But I think at times, because we're smart, we must feel that way. I know that when I bend the knee every morning and I ask God for forgiveness, I tend to ask him for forgiveness with the same old things that I consistently keep doing. And it's frustrating for me because I keep trying to change the verbiage as if that's going to matter. And I keep trying to be honest, but I did this and I shouldn't have done this. And I try to sound more smarter than I am, as if, who am I talking to right now? Like that just makes no sense, but we're human. How can you make the right steps to rectify that in a sense where you can get away from it?
Yeah, I think that honestly, a lot of the times you can't get fully away from things, especially if you've experienced it. But I'm going to go right back to what I said in the beginning. It's about accountability. It's about having another person, having other people involved. You can't do life by yourself. You can't. So I think that if you struggle with a particular sin, if you struggle with a particular behavior in your relationship, you've got to talk to somebody about it. Somebody that you're vulnerable enough to say, hey, listen, I've done this multiple times, and it doesn't matter what it is. I mean, I've talked to people about anything from, hey, I'm angry all the time. I deal with porn. I deal with whatever it is. Like, you've got to talk to somebody because you can't do that by yourself.
By the way, it wasn't porn. That's what came out of her mouth now, but that wasn't it.
But I'm talking about, like, unfaithful. Like, I'm talking about anything that you're going through. If you're still in that space where you can't conquer it, which I don't think that we can fully conquer things. I think that we can get better at it. But I think that we need to talk to people about it. You have to talk to someone about it. If you're dealing with something that is over and over and over and over again, you got to talk to somebody about it, and somebody about it to say, hey, listen, I'm doing this. Bro, I'm doing this. And I'm like, yo, I really don't want you to do that. Like, I really don't want you to do that. But I know that you're doing that. But can you, like, do it less? Can you less, minimize it, but somebody that you can be vulnerable enough to share what you're going through. So that person at 2:00 in the morning can be like, yo, you good? Yo, oh man, yeah, I did this. I shouldn't be doing this, whatever. But somebody to go to, so it's not that, because you know what's going to happen? The more you keep going to God with that sin, you're going to become callous to it. Like, well, I'm going to ask for forgiveness and God's going to forgive me. You're not going to realize that forgiveness is beautiful, that it's long lasting. It's not something that you have to go over and over again, but you have to be vested. You have to make a decision like, hey, I'm going to stop doing this, or I'm going to do it less. Maybe I can't, because sometimes thinking I'm going to stop for good, that's such a big, huge thing to conquer that it's impossible, that when you fail and you do it again, you're just like, ¿pa qué? Why am I going to keep saying I'm not going to do it? Because it's too big. But if you do little bit at a time and you do it with people, you have to do it with people. You can't do it alone. Because if you do it alone, ain't nobody going to hold you accountable to that. You can act a certain type of way, mask, and be like, I'm good, I'm fine. But you need community. Community is good, my friend.
How did this become about me? All I was doing was asking some questions.
That's all right, Roy. It's not about you. It's about humanity.
Well, I think we're good with what we're talking about today about the relationships. Let me address something with you guys. First and foremost, just to get it out the way, Marilu has a bunch of titles, okay? But Marilu is still a human being, and Marilu is Marilu first. So don't hold Marilu to the cross because she said something here that according to you, you think that because she's a pastor, she shouldn't have said, because that's not it. Just want to get that out of there. We're human beings. We're going to talk. We're going to say things. We're going to have different opinions. She is a female. I am a male. At least I think I am. And based on who we are, we're going to have opinions and we're going to say things a certain way that maybe according to the eyes that are watching us might not fit into your perfect assumption that you think that the average Christian or believer of God should act. I mean, we're human. And I consistently have to keep telling that to people here at the church because we tend to always go to, oh, they're supposed to be believers, and they're supposed to be Christians. And I'm like, yo, but they're human. They're human. And we're in a place where it's a church, but it's even a hospital. Everybody here is all kinds of messed up. And we're here with the purpose of looking for the presence of God and overall trying to get better at just following him. But we are all human first and foremost. Mm-hmm. So the whole purpose of the conversation is to not only get to know each other and talk about good topics, hopefully that's the plan here, but also to see where you guys fit in what we're saying. And what do you think? And what's your overall opinion? If you could, leave it in the description down below. I would appreciate it. I'm sure that Mary Lou will. She's the one who's going to answer, not me. But if I don't like it, I might just delete you, just to let you know. All right.
No, he does not like to fight. No, not at all. Not at all.
All right. Well, this is it. Hope you guys liked today's little podcast. I will see you guys in the next one. Don't forget to share. Don't forget to like. And if you're not a subscriber, consider to subscribe. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year's. Hopefully we'll see you before then.
Yes, we will.